A new study confirms that CBD can help treat alopecia as good or better than any modern treatment currently on the market. Now, is this true? Well, I have alopecia, so I'm going to look into it. That is what alopecia looks like. Now, you may not be able to tell that I have alopecia, just like you may not be able to tell how a lot of other people have alopecia. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean it ain't there. Now, what is alopecia? Alopecia is a common autoimmune skin disease. And if you have an autoimmune disease, your body's immune system mistakes your healthy tissues as dangerous ones and it begins to attack them. Now, the word alopecia means bald. Areata means patchy. The disease causes hair loss on the scalp, face, and sometimes other body areas, like under the arms or on the legs, eyebrows, or anywhere else you might get hair. People with alopecia most often lose hair in circular coin-sized patches on the scalp, like I just showed you I have. But in more severe cases, they may lose all their hair. About 2% of people across the world will experience alopecia at some point in their lifetime. So you're not alone. It's a lot of people. Nearly 6.7 million people in the United States and 160 million worldwide have alopecia, or have had it, or will have it. And about 700,000 people in the US currently have some form of alopecia areata. Hey, that's cool. I'm in the 1%. Who would have known? Now, who gets it? Everyone. People of all ages, genders, and races and ethnic groups are affected by alopecia. And the hair loss often first appears during childhood, but how and when, it's different for everybody. Although alopecia can begin at any age, most individuals develop the disease early in life. Now, more than 80% show signs of the disease before age 40, and 40% experience symptoms by age 20. Now, what causes alopecia? Alopecia is a polygenic disease, meaning it's related to multiple genetic factors, but not everyone with the genes develops the disease. Now, for example, identical twins share all the same genes. But if one twin has alopecia, there's only a 55% chance that the other twin will also have it. That's interesting. The disease is somewhat unknown. And I don't mean unknown as they don't know what it is. I mean unknown as kind of what triggers it. It's very complex. Now, scientists know it's an autoimmune disease, but they aren't sure why the immune system attacks the healthy hair follicles of people with the gene variations in the first place. About 20% of people with alopecia have at least one family member who's had the disease. The risk of alopecia increases if you have a close relative with it. And the risk increases even more if that relative lost their hair before age 30. Now, I don't know if my grandfather had alopecia, but I know he was bald before he was 30. I'm over 30, so still holding on strong. Another thing researchers aren't really sure about is what triggers the disease. They know that people with alopecia have a genetic disposition to it, but how's it triggered? Do the triggers first happen inside the body? Do they come from the environment outside the body? Or a combination of both? Most of the time, and usually, it's a combination of both. There's different levels of alopecia areata. The three main types of alopecia areata are patchy, alopecia totalis, which is total hair loss of the scalp, and alopecia universalis, which is total hair loss all over the body. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my alopecia and how I discovered it, and what I've been doing. In 2019, in March, I went to just go get my hair cut with my normal hairdresser. It's a good friend of mine. And he said, "Hey, you have a patch of hair missing. Are you shaving it for a role or a part in a movie or something, since I'm an actor?" And since he's a good friend, I thought he was just joking with me, having a laugh. And I said, "Oh, man, don't mess with me," because we both kind of take care of our hair and, really want it to look good. Full disclosure. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he wheeled me around like this and showed me in the mirror that I was missing a huge patch of hair. My heart began to beat really fast, and obviously the stress started to come, which is counterproductive to helping it heal. So flash forward to about a couple months ago, I noticed it was back. And since it does come back and reoccur later in life. Once you've had it, it's more than likely going to come back again a second or a third time later in life, either in the same spot or different locations. Now, I have to add a little context to this. About a couple months before I discovered my alopecia, I was starting to do some stand-up comedy and starting to write a little bit more comedically. And I was making jokes about dating, which is what everybody makes jokes about, right? But I started to say, well, I'm single because no girl wants to date a guy with better hair than them. Ha 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 ha. And like clockwork of irony, within the next month or two, I discovered that big patch of hair missing. So somebody has a sense of humor that made me realize that maybe I should be a little bit more reserved about those jokes. I don't know. And now for the good news. A new study published by NORML, which is the National Organization for the Reformment of Marijuana Laws, says that topical application of cannabinoids promotes hair growth in patients with alopecia. And it was published July 13th, 2023. The daily administration of a topical solution containing hemp-derived cannabinoids, including CBD, THCV, and CBDV, is associated with hair regrowth in patients with androgenetic alopecia, according to data published in the International Journal of Trichology, or IJOT. 31 subjects with alopecia participated in the study, and all of the subjects applied the extract solution daily for 6 months. Every patient experienced hair regrowth during the course of the study. Male subjects, on average, experienced greater regrowth than women did. None of the participants reported experiencing any adverse effects. That's important to note. I'll say that again. None of the participants reported experiencing any adverse effects from this study. Quote, this case study suggests that topical hemp extract, high in THCV, CBDV, or CBD, menthol, and peppermint oil is associated with significant hair regrowth in both men and women with alopecia. Written by the author. He added, topical hemp formulation has superior results to the FDA-approved hair regrowth prescription medicines finasteride and 5% minoxidil, once daily foam. Since this hemp extract works through novel mechanisms entirely different from finasteride and minoxidil, it can be used in conjunction with these current drugs and would be expected to have synergistic effects, meaning you can use them all at the same time and they won't negatively impact or affect each other's effect on your recovery. Now, the results are consistent with those of a 2021 study that determined that hemp-derived CBD extracts topical administration stimulated hair growth in patients with alopecia. Now, this study was just a more pointed study with 4 or 5 specific cannabinoids that they think might actually help more than the other ones. And you're going to start seeing this, which is why I'm so passionate about cannabis, because you're going to start seeing this science come out more and more as they extract all of these cannabinoids and do tests on them like this. This is awesome. This is what we need cannabis legalization and money for, is for studies like this that can help people, millions of people all over the world. Now, you may not know it, but quite a few celebrities have alopecia and deal with it. Anthony Carrigan has alopecia universalis and is very outspoken and very involved in inspiring children and people with alopecia. Gail Porter, Viola Davis, Olivia Bentley, Tyra Banks, Jessie Nelson, and yes, probably the most recent famous one you've heard about, Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, we didn't hear much about Jada Pinkett Smith's alopecia before the slap, but we heard a lot about it after, and I don't know what that means. I'm just pointing it out. And maybe she has a charity where she helps people with alopecia. I'm not sure, but it'd be great if she did, because she has a lot of power and influence. Speaking of giving back, if you buy my book, this one, right here, and you put the comment, alopecia, in the order, I will give 100% of the proceeds of those orders to a charity for alopecia for children. Now you have to make sure you comment alopecia so I can note that that proceed goes to charity. Just go to brettdavidstelter.com or Amazon or barnesandnoble.com. But I appreciate it, and I will put all the links in the bio as well. Now what I did with this was this. You take the dropper and you fill it up about 3/4 to a whole dropper. And then you sprinkle it on the affected area as needed. Now you might get a little bit of a drip down. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's CBD oil. It's not going to do anything wrong to you. If anything, it's going to help your hair. And it actually is going to help inflammation of the scalp. You put it on a dropper and you rub it and absorb it into the affected area. And you do that once in the morning and once at night. And then repeat for 6 months. And as the statistics are saying, you should have significant improvement. Now, full disclosure, a lot of times hair does grow back slowly on its own over the affected area. However, it probably takes a longer period of time without this treatment and without any other treatment. So is this going to work? We don't know. But I'm going to do this with this dropper. And if I do change the dropper, I'll let you know. And in 6 months, we're going to see how much it's helped. And I'll follow back up in 6 months. And again, full disclosure, I'm already having, before I put any of the oil on my hair, I had really small baby peach fuzz hairs kind of starting to grow back. So I just wanted to let you know so that you didn't think I was bamboozling you or using the power of filmmaking to edit it in a certain way. Things to remember as you struggle with alopecia and you start to treat it either this way or any other way that you have found with your doctor would be effective. First, check with your doctor for a diagnosis and suggested treatments. And second, I know it's going to be tough, but try and stay as positive as you can. Try not to think about it, even though you are losing hair all over your body or in specific parts of your body. You might feel vulnerable or stressed. It's very important to keep your stress levels down because in an autoimmune disease, stress heightens up the symptoms of that disease. So I personally really don't like when someone just tells me, oh man, just calm down, just chill out, when they're not dealing with what people are dealing with. So if you want to get involved, I will put all the links in the description of charities and organizations that you can reach out to and talk to, and resource guides for you on your alopecia journey. Just know you're not alone. 7 million or more people all over the world deal with it. And if you really have questions, feel free to hit me up or hit us up and ask any questions you might have. I suggest going to a local wellness or CBD store as opposed to a smoke shop or a dispensary. They may not necessarily know the best and most up-to-date info on the CBD oil, but just do your own research and try to diversify who you're asking about these issues. I wish you the best. Nothing but love on your alopecia journey. We're all in this together. And hey, here's another thing that we're finding out that cannabis can help. It's kind of amazing. Stay blessed.